is up, you guys? This is Mini Superheroes Today.
Hey guys, it's no secret that I love the Dunder Mifflin office set. It's so awesome. You've got all the details from the show, but it is missing some sections like the accounting section and so on. So in today's video, I actually bought a second copy and I'm gonna see if I can complete the office using 2 copies of the set. So the first thing to do was to find a 3D floor plan of the office, and we want to build the accounting section first and add in some of the extra details. So beyond that, we need to dissect the bottom here to account for more space, no pun intended. So there are enough pieces, of course, to add more square footage up top for accounting, but we do have to remove this 1x2 piece here to get enough space for these black pieces to fill in all of the bracing. So that now gives us enough space to work with to add in some of those desks in the corner. The next problem we run into is Stanley's desk right here. It actually runs out of space right behind Stanley's desk, so we're also gonna have to add some studs over here to get some more square footage to work with. Well, the next issue I'm running into is in accounting. So even making the desks 1 stud less thick than the regular desks, there's not enough room for all 3 and minifigures on the other side, as well as to get those shelves behind Kevin. So unfortunately, the only way to get more space is to, well, annex the annex. So I think I'm only gonna build it out to the kitchen area. That way I can get all of this, brick space back, transfer it back to this corner, and hopefully, fingers crossed, make something out of this. Alright, so it only took a little bit of retooling and we were able to get enough space back here for accounting. We'll probably have enough space for Daryl and Jim's office right here. Of course, Creed's desk over here, so yeah, stay tuned. Alright, a little status update. We're doing really good so far. I did have to sub out some colors, to basically build up the wall, but you won't see those colors from this side, so that's okay, but I'm getting so close, almost there. Well, I've already made the concession that it isn't going to be completely even with the original office set, and without taking away anything from that original set, this is where we end up. So I am going to go ahead and go in my collection and supplement just this corner. Because, just grabbing a couple 1x1s and 1x2s to finish up that corner, most LEGO fans that would be able to buy 2 offices, I think would have that many pieces, so we're going to add that in just to get us by. Alright, and finally, we've got the entire office built and displayed here on my LEGO table. So, it was kind of fun to walk you through the process of getting this entire section added in, and there were tons and tons of extra pieces. So, the biggest challenge I ran into was getting enough white bricks for the perimeter to match what was on this side. The big approach that I wanted is from this line over. All of this is from the original office with the exception of a little section right here, about half of the conference room section that was added on, and that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, there are not enough white bricks to make it the whole way around, so it's just a little bit lower here. If I lift it up, you can see that the walls don't quite touch, as do here, so it's just a little bit shorter, and as we saw in the build section of the video, I did have to supplement about 10 extra white bricks of various sizes from my collection to get it finished. With that being said though, I do consider the challenge to be a success. The challenge of taking 2 office sets and making the whole thing out of it does work pretty well. Now, let's get a little bit closer so I can show you some of the design ideas I had and how I implemented them. Let's start with the conference room. Now, the crazy thing is, we do get a ton of these flat tan pieces, but we don't get enough to go the whole way around. So the white trim does come into the conference room a little bit, and there's 1 stud that exposed, just because there's not enough to cover the whole thing. So I figured putting the bat there would actually be pretty good to cover up that 1 stud. It's really nice that we get so many chairs on this set, because now you can fit pretty much all the figures in here. And of course, if you wanted to make it more like the show, you could have some chairs go up against the window, or whatever the case may be, but I just love having that many chairs to work with. Of course, we've got windows here, and I went ahead and used the same sticker on both windows since we see many episodes where they're looking through the blinds to see what's going on out in the parking lot. But otherwise, I left it pretty much the same in the conference room. We've still got the TV in the corner, the whiteboard, the picture on the wall, all of that stayed the same. Of course, we still have the stud here that you could switch out the banners for. I left the Diversity Day banner up. And then, of course, we have these studs showing on the walls. Now, this isn't, referencing anything specific on the show. Rather, to use all of the tan bricks to finish it, there were studs exposed, kind of like this brick underneath here, so I figured it looked better to just put those studs there than to have those hollow studs on the walls, so it was just basically making use of our time. Now, of course, we have these two stickers on here, a little tricky to see at that current angle, but we've got blind stickers there and one sticker here where, of course, the minifigures can look through the blinds. So that's the conference room, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's not a major thing, but I went ahead and created this plant, very reminiscent of this plant, to put out here by the Dunder Mifflin sign. Just want to twist it so you could still see the Dunder Mifflin logo, but I thought that that would liven up this little back corner just a little bit more. Now, as I said, I wanted to leave the main section of the office as untouched as possible. We're going to work our way around, so we'll finish with this back wall here, but there's no real major changes through here, except that I moved the desks over just a little bit to create a little bit more space through here, because it just helped fill the office out a little more. If these were still over here, then there was a lot of dead space here, and these are pretty much even, at least optically, so that's a good move. So that brings us to the accounting department, which is what I really wanted to focus on. To be fair, like everybody else in the office, I wanted to give everybody the same type of chairs, and in order to do that, we basically had to just build the same chair again, but you need at least 3 studs of clearance, which you can see from Kevin's area, and Angela got 4 studs of clearance. It's just kind of the way it worked out, but that way every character can sit at their respective desk. Angela got the same like little pen holder that Pam has over here. I gave them the same thing there. We've got a little picture hanging up on the wall. All of this filing area is the same from the official set, and really the new set just starts from this line over. And I knocked over this pole, but regardless, it does look pretty good, especially, using only pieces that came in the actual set. And I'll show you the back wall too, because behind Kevin's desk, we have all kinds of filing cabinets and stuff, and if you were to use pieces just from your own collection, there's probably a better way to build that to make it more accurate to the show, but using only pieces that came in this set, we did get pretty dang close, and, again, it's all about creating the vibe and the feeling. One other cool Easter egg that I included is this bowl on Kevin's desk, because we know that Kevin loves his M&Ms, so, we can pretend that there are some M&Ms in there. The other thing I want to point out is that there is a divider in the accounting space, so to build that is actually pretty simple. Again, it's just using pieces that came in this actual set. We use this 1x2 tall with the studs here, then 2 window pieces and a 1x2 with this little lip right here, then just a stud to elevate it, and then you just put it on the desk between them, and it really helps liven that up and make it more accurate to the show with just a couple extra bricks. I'm gonna go freehand for Creed and Meredith's desks back here, but of course I use the same general desk design as, everybody else in the office, so that everything was nice and uniformed. Of course, Creed's got his little computer there. They both have phones. No real huge Easter eggs. Again, basically just based off of the limited, pieces that we could use in this challenge. But yeah, it was really cool to build the wall section through here, especially because Creed's got a window next to his desk, and there is a door between accounting and Meredith's desk. So fortunately, the door doesn't lead anywhere just due to lack of pieces. But one thing I had an idea for is we get all of these extra sand green bricks from Michael's office that we really can't use. So I filled it with all of the extra accessory pieces, like the extra banners and things like that. So, instead of just losing those pieces, at least we get a little holder for them. Now back here, you can see that I had to use some non-white pieces to really finish this out. So the good thing is, if you display it from this angle, you can't tell that those pieces are there at all, but I do have to be real that we did have to sub out some extra pieces, unfortunately, but it does get the job done, so that's good. And looking around back here, you can see that I put the spare cat for Angela, kind of walking on this ledge here. Maybe it's a little alley cat. Then, of course, we have what was Jim's office briefly, but Daryl's office over here in the corner. Went ahead and used those blind stickers to get that pretty accurate to the show. Then inside, I had to do a shorter desk for Daryl because there's not as much floor space in here. So that way there could still be like a minifigure right here talking to Daryl. There's still space for his seat. We've got a coat rack back there. And I just built this cool little shelving unit that has like a lamp, a fire hydrant. No real particular Easter eggs there, but I just didn't want that corner to be completely empty. Similarly, we do see that there's some kind of cabinetry here in the corner of the office, so I just filled it with some random things, kind of filled in that middle section with maybe like a box of Post-its or whatever you want to use your imagination that it could be. Then, of course, we've got the door that would lead to the kitchen. Maybe I'll buy a third office and keep adding on. What do you guys think? But that basically brings us to the last thing that I added, which is just this little extra floor space behind Stanley, and then I just used all of these extra pieces to fill out the shelves that are there, that, you know, in the show they have like boxes of paper and office supplies, but of course just kind of had to use what we had here. So I put some extra Dundies up there, some of Dwight's bobbleheads. We could pretend that this is the VHS for Threat Level Midnight. You know, we could pretend they're whatever Easter eggs they may be. But with that being said, that's the whole office. Well guys, that is my full tour of combining 2 office sets into one. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if there are any design ideas you might have done a little bit differently or implemented something else. I always love to hear from you guys, so drop it in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Well, you made it to the end of the video. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and maybe check out one of my other videos listed here.